Hi everyone! If you want to grow your own food, but you have no idea how, microgreens are the easiest crop you can start with. They're super easy to plant. You'll be eating your own tasty greens in about a week or so. Microgreens are a great crop to grow inside when it's too cold to grow outside in the wintertime. And you don't even have to have grow lights. You can have them right there on your kitchen windowsill for easy access while you're cooking, and they're so delicious too. So first off, what are microgreens? Microgreens can be grown from any easy to germinate seeds such as radishes, mustard greens, arugula, and they're just little tiny plants that are harvested at the very early stages of growth while they're about 2 to 3 inches tall. Now the cool thing about microgreens is they're power packed with nutrients because all the nutrients and the flavor are packed into these tiny little greens. So you always have something to harvest delicious on your windowsill, even in the wintertime. Today I'm going to share with you how to grow microgreens from start to finish. Stick around, you're going to love it. Microgreens are super easy to plant and grow. You can literally get your own microgreens planted in about 5 minutes. You just need 3 things: seeds, a container, and some soil. Now, as far as seeds go, there's not special microgreen seeds. You can grow them from any easy to germinate seed. And those are things like what I have right here. I have some kale, have some mustard greens, some radishes, some arugula. These are all greens that germinate very, very quickly. As far as containers go, you need a container that's about 3 to 6 inches deep. Here I'm growing in the CaliKim 1-gallon smart pots. It's a great container to grow in because it looks really pretty sitting on your windowsill. Nice bright color, and the most important thing is, no matter what container you need, it does need to have drainage. This is a fabric pot. The fabric is aerated, so the plants have nice, good drainage so the roots don't rot in the soil. As far as soil goes, you can use a good organic potting mix. I actually like to use my DIY seed starting mix. It has coca coir, worm castings, and vermiculite in it. You can go over and check out a video on how to make it. Not only does it save you money, but it's nice and fine, so your microgreen seeds germinate very quickly. So first off, to plant your microgreens, it's so easy. All you do is fill your container with soil. Now, I did pre-moisten my soil just a little bit, so the seeds have the moisture they need to germinate very quickly. Now, as far as the seeds go, again, they're just regular seeds, harvested sooner. But I have put together a microgreen seed collection with 8 different varieties of easy to germinate seeds that we're going to plant today. And you can grab this over at CaliKimGardenandHome.com. So what I'm going to do is show you how to plant the seeds right here in this container. We're actually going to plant a little combo microgreens in here. So experiment with different types of microgreens to see what flavors you like the best. First, we're going to plant some radishes. I'm going to pour the radish seeds into my hand, and you do plant microgreens a lot differently than you would plant the radish seeds if you're going to grow them to full maturity. You want to seed them a lot thicker and a lot heavier, so you have a nice little carpet of microgreens to harvest from, just like I do right here. I'm going to plant half of our container with radish seeds. These are the French breakfast radishes, and they're so delicious and zippy. And we love to put our microgreens on top of scrambled eggs, in sandwiches, in soups, in smoothies. They're just so delicious. Now I'm going to plant the other half of my microgreens little pot here with red mustard greens. Red mustard greens germinate so fast. The radishes and mustard greens are going to be germinating within just a couple of days. Now let me show you what the red mustard green microgreens look like. You can see they have a little bit of a purple tinge on the top. And look how thickly these are planted. So you can harvest a nice little handful when they're ready. So we're going to sprinkle the red mustard greens on the other half of the container. And you can see how thickly we're spreading the seeds. It's a lot different than if you were planting in the garden where you have to carefully space them out. That's one reason why microgreens are such a no-brainer. You can plant them really fast and you are good to go. Next step is to grab a small little handful of soil, sprinkle them very lightly over the top. Don't want to cover it too heavily because you want your seeds to be able to germinate very easily. Next, I'm going to spray my microgreens little pot here with a little spray bottle, and you do want to make sure that you check on them every day and don't let the top of the soil dry out. Keep it nice and moist until they germinate, and they're going to germinate in about 2 to 5 days, depending on what type of microgreens you're planting. It's going to be so much fun. So make sure you let me know how quickly yours germinate. You're going to absolutely love seeing them poke through the soil. After your microgreens germinate, you want to water them from the bottom. And this is important because if you water from the top, top and splash them heavily on top, the tiny little greens will kind of bend over. And it also helps keep your plants healthier and avoid disease and pests like fungus gnats inside. So you fill your little tray up here with water, and then you'll let them soak for a little bit till all the water wicks up from the bottom. And once your plant starts feeling, or your container starts feeling a little bit heavier, that means the water is absorbed in the soil. You can pour out the excess and save it for another use. So these little seedling trays are really handy for microgreens, as well as these little drip trays. I'll put links to all the supplies I use in the video description, so it's really easy for you to find them. Now you might be wondering, what about grow lights for my microgreens? Well, that's what makes microgreens so easy and such a no-brainer, is that grow lights are optional. Because remember, you're not growing the plants to full maturity. You're only growing them to about 2 to 3 inches tall. Then you're harvesting them, so they don't really need a lot of light to grow. So what you can do is take your container, put it next to your kitchen windowsill. As long as it has some indirect light, it's going to germinate and grow very well for you. Now, if you do have grow lights, go ahead and put them under grow lights. They'll grow a little bit quicker. They won't get leggy. They'll be really nice, but you can definitely still grow them without lights. Now, a super, super easy grow light setup is just this clip light with the little grow light bulb in here. And you can clip it to the top of your cabinet and put your little microgreens pot under that. It's a very easy way, and go over and check out my video on grow lights for how to get this set up. Quick, simple, and inexpensive. Now let's talk about one of the funnest parts of growing microgreens, and that is harvesting. There's so many different flavor profiles of microgreens, and they're ready to harvest in about 7 to 10 days, so it's really fun. Now, all these here were grown from my microgreen seed collection. They're ready to harvest, and you can grab this collection over at CaliKimGardeningHome.com. I'm having a clearance sale right now, 40% off on all of my seed collections, so it's a really good deal with the code microgreens. And now, I like to harvest them just as we like to eat them. They're best eaten fresh. So what you do to harvest is you just grab a handful of microgreens and just snip them off about at the top of the soil level there. And then we love to eat them on scrambled eggs. We'll do that almost every morning. We'll throw them in our salads for lunchtime, in wraps. You can throw them in smoothies, in soups. There's so many different ways you can eat microgreens. And these are radishes, so they're super, super delicious and nice and zippy. So good. Now, like I mentioned, I like to just harvest what we're going to eat and eat them fresh. So here you can see on my kale microgreens, I've harvested about half the pot here. And the cool thing about them is that you can get a second harvest from your microgreens. So you can see here, there's a few little extra little kale plants popping up here. That'll be my second harvest. I'll let them grow for another probably a week or so, harvest them again. Then after you get about 2 cuts from your microgreens, it's pretty much done. So at that point, what I'll do is I'll pull the little stems out and then replant fresh new seeds. You can use the same soil. You might want to add a little handful of brand new potting mix or a little handful of worm castings, just so they have a few extra nutrients, but you can plant in this little container in the same soil time and time again to make really good use of your resources. Now your assignment for the week is to get yourself some microgreens planted so you have fresh, tasty food grown right inside on your windowsill. No matter what the weather is outside, you're going to be so glad that you did. And head over to CaliKimGardeningHome.com, grab your microgreen seed collection, your 1-gallon CaliKim Smart Pots, and make sure you take advantage of the clearance sale on seed collections only. All 30 of my seed collections with the code microgreens, 40% off. You also get a free postcard and a dill seed packet with your purchase. That sale goes until Monday, October 31st. Comment down below, let me know if you're growing microgreens with me. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.